With the disastrous release of Redfall, many of us are asking ourselves, should we be worried about Starfield? And honestly, the answer is yeah, maybe. Not necessarily because Bethesda are going to get it wrong, because of course Bethesda Game Studios is not the same developer as Arcane, the creators of Redfall, but they are now owned by Xbox, and Xbox have put a lot of pressure on some of their developers to produce the crown jewels for Game Pass. They need some exclusives on their platform. Yeah, that's the pressure they are now applying. It's almost certainly why they bought ZeniMax and Bethesda as a whole. They wanted these good games. Now, I'm of the opinion that that's actually a good reason for Xbox to have acquired Bethesda and all of the development teams under that umbrella. I actually think that is a good goal, to have developers who can create good games for you to attract people to your platform. I was actually one of the people that saw that as a positive, because obviously ZeniMax and Bethesda Softworks had been, shall we say, dabbling in certain business practices or certain types of gaming that bring in that sort of constant revenue, the microtransaction sort of revenue that many of us are not particularly happy with. Whereas Xbox just seemed to want to get some good titles that they could put in Game Pass and attract people over. It was less about how much money those games would make individually and more about whether they would attract people over. And I think that's a very healthy incentive for a development team to have if their publisher is saying, just make a great game that everyone talks about and wants to come and play, and we'll charge them on the door for Game Pass and for the Xbox itself. So you don't need microtransactions. I was all for that. But of course, it would seem like this has got a new pressure, which is make something. And thus we got Redfall. And I have to ask, didn't someone in Xbox take a look at it and think, oh, this might be a bad idea? I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall for all to see. We were hearing all sorts of rumours and bad bits of news, like it was going to have an always online requirement, even though you could single player it. Single player it? You could play it by yourself. It wasn't going to have a 60 FPS mode for console, for Xbox, and that was going to be released later. I mean, that says our game is not finished, right? When you're planning on finishing it later. I mean, because 60 FPS was one of the things they were advertising, and it should be as well. They had to pull that at the last minute. And since the game's come out, there's been a bunch of other things that make you realize they just were not prepared for this. They really did pull a Fallout 76 experience, didn't they? They've stepped into a genre that they're not really accustomed to, and an awful lot went wrong. But it's worrying that Xbox themselves didn't see this. Were Arcane hiding something from them? Or did Arcane say, look, we're going to need more time, and Xbox pushed them because they needed those exclusives. They needed the platform exclusive this year. And I do understand that thinking. I understand that, a lot of people have been saying they need the platform exclusives. They need it this year or it's over for them. But honestly, it's kind of like turning up to a party and realizing you were supposed to bring a present and you didn't, right? Do you knock on the door without a present and say hi, or do you find something quickly and just give them anything? Yeah, you find an empty cardboard box, take a giant steaming dump in it and put a ribbon on it. Yeah, because honestly, I am going to much prefer that you come with nothing and a heartfelt apology than a box of crap and a smarmy grin. Yeah, honestly, just if you can't deliver something good, don't deliver it. Certainly don't deliver a box of crap. So of course now the worry is, will they do the same for Starfield? Now I'm not saying Starfield's in the same sort of state. We don't really know. You know, we've seen some gameplay footage, and I know there were some people worried about the frame rate on the footage they saw, or the lack of blood splatter, etc. Does the game need a little more time? We don't know. For all we know, they've got this polished now and it is ready to go. They've delayed it a few times, and I, for one, am relieved that they're quite happy doing that. I want them to do that. But have they reached a point now where Xbox is saying, no, we need something. We bought you. We need you to make those platform exclusives. You will make them. And if so, has this launch given them pause for thought? Are Xbox now thinking, ooh, no. Yeah, no, maybe that's a bad idea. Because I do hope so. If Starfield is not ready to go, and I'm not saying it isn't, but if it's not, give Bethesda Game Studios the time and the space they need to get it right. Because, you know, releasing another box of crap is not going to go down well with gamers. It's just not. It would be better to have nothing but an apology. So yeah, I'm a little worried, and I'm hoping that Xbox learns from this. Yes, I am really looking forward to playing Skyrim in space. That's what I want. I want some more of that BGS experience. I'm looking forward to seeing what the modding community can do with that game. I'm looking forward to all aspects of it. But I'd rather be looking forward to it for a bit longer than looking back on it and thinking, ooh, wow, that was bad. As for Arcane, I still have a lot of faith that they can create brilliant games. They have produced some absolute gems, and so I'm hoping they don't take this too badly and they, you know, go back to work on Monday and sort of have a meeting and someone says, so, Dishonored 3 then? You know? Or Prey 2. Please make Prey 2. Honestly, I know Prey 2 was not a giant success, but I don't think it was the game. I think it was either the marketing or the moment of release or some other factor. But I think there's a lot of people, well, a core of people who've played the game who really loved it. And I think if you announce a Prey 2, they will all make a lot of noise. And people will notice that. Other people who didn't play it, who missed that, will think, wait, why are those guys going nuts about this announcement? And maybe go back and try Prey. I feel like this is sort of like Fallout or other games like that didn't necessarily become a massive commercial success at first, but they got you know, a following, a bit of almost like a cult following, and it sort of blossomed from there. I think Prey could be like that. It was a great game. It really was. And if not Prey, more games like that. Really, honestly, Arcane, you are good at stuff like that. You're brilliant at Dishonored as well, those games. Anything like that, any of these single player experiences. I even love Deathloop, so still a big fan. Looking forward to what they can create next. Just hoping that Starfield is either ready or Xbox give the developers room and time to make sure it's ready. Not just for the developers' sake, but for Xbox's sake as well.